Good night, everybody. Good night. Today we have our last theory class, and while I'm preparing all the requirements, the YouTube live stream is ready, and we are recording this class as always, as we did with all the classes. Now, well, everything's okay at the moment. Now it's time to wait for the rest of my, well, for all my students, not the rest, to wait for all my students. And well, patience. Tonight, my sister is teaching, so I hope we are not having some troubles, some disturbances with this. Anyway, if it happens, well, patience. Forever, everything is ready for the class of tonight. And well, patience. Let's finish this model 1 in the better way as possible as we can. See you in a few minutes. Hi, good night, everybody. How are you? How was the day? Well, all right. Well, dear, as well, it depends on you. If you want, we can start now. We have a not long class, the last theoretical one. And that's okay if you want to start at this moment, or if you prefer to wait for more colleagues, more classmates. It's your choice. At this moment, let's start sharing the screen. Okay, let me know. Can you watch my screen? Hi.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Maybe let's wait 1 minute more and then we start, okay? It's not a long class, as I'm telling you, and well, it's the last one. Let's try to finish in the best way. All the time we were together in this module 1. In that order. Let's give a minute. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's start now because, well, I think we respected enough time. Well, as I was telling you, today is our last theoretical class. We are finishing module 1 with these slides. And well, today we are going to talk about hospitals, primary care, medical education, and the overseas doctor. A very general view of each point because it's a lot of information if we check by internet, some books, maybe, well, taking the importance of the medical programs, it's too much. So in that order, this approach is going to be, well, in my opinion, the most important part for each one, and then lots of new vocabulary to take in account for module 2. First of all, we are going to talk about hospitals, okay? As definition, we know that hospitals are the institution that is built, staffed, and equipped for the diagnosis of diseases, for the treatment, both medical and surgical, of the sick and the injured, and for their housing during this process. We all know, have experience into hospital during our medical medical career, during the medical school, while making the practice, making the internship, and then while working. We all expect to work in a hospital because in my opinion, the most important and interesting health situations are in there. So we can take it as an experience for growing into the career. Well, going ahead, this is a general view, a general division, could say, how an hospital is divided into departments. We all know about it. Hospitals don't attend just admitted patients. They assist people that are going to take a control, or maybe taking some tests, lab tests, imaging tests, doesn't matter. And then they can go back home. And then with the results, go back to the consulting room. So we have lots of places to take in account. It's a general view. When we consider that in order the function the hospital needs to work on, it's divided. Of course, emergency room, the ER, is one of the most important departments, and it's one of the most easy to get into the hospital in order to reach doors, to reach attention, to have the opportunity to be assisted in that place according to the situation. The rest of the services, well, has a different way of being organized, and we all know about it. In this slide is just an approach to how many services we can find into a hospital, how we, for being practical, divide in rooms, in services, in departments, our patients, in order to get organized all of the staff, all of the equipment, and everything for working in a better way. Emergency department always becomes in red in every hospital because of the way we work there. It's not the same movement in the emergency room, the emergency department, than in pediatrics department, right? It's be just for a few hours, or maybe get into the hospital for treatment, than treating patients that are admitted for a few days and taking medication, receiving fluids, and that kind of things. So we also here have a few abbreviations to consider, that with these abbreviations, it's easier for us to start working. For example, SPED for pediatrics, MED for internal medicine, surgery, the antenatal care, the ANC, the inpatient department, outpatient department, the administrative staff is very important, laboratory, orthopedics, and obstetrics and gynecology, again, orthopedics. So we have to consider this, okay? Now the OR, operating room, or operating theater in other places, the labor room, the parturition, we know. Let's go. Talking about the meanings, important meanings, and well, specific expressions we have to consider. In this opportunity, we have to talk about outpatients, inpatients, and admitted. Outpatients are people who come to hospital to attend the clinic or to have tests or treatment, and then return home the same day. They don't stay, just come, receive the attention they need, receive the assistance, and then go back home the same day just to go for a few hours. Inpatients are people who stay in the hospital for 1 or more days in order to receive treatment. The rooms where they stay are called wards, okay? I'm going to correct, I'm sorry for this grammar mistake. The admitted patients are patients that can get into the hospital by 3 main ways. They have 3 ways to get into, to be admitted, to receive attention. The first of all is to put on a waiting list. It means you have a date to go to the hospital, you are evaluated again, and then get admitted to be an inpatient. Then you receive your treatment. You know how many days you're going to stay, you know the treatment you're going to receive, and then you can stay in a better way. The telephone admissions are people who are acutely ill. You call by phone, the ambulance goes, pick you up, and then you go to the emergency room, you are evaluated, and because you are ill, you are with a sickness or disease or illness or disease, you stay into the hospital for receiving treatment. And we have the third way, patients that are seen in the A&E department. A&E is Accident and Emergency Department. It's England. It's the same that as we say, emergency room. Okay, the A&E department, the doctor on duty arrange the admission, and then if it's necessary, you become an inpatient and stay into the hospital for receiving treatment. If there is no necessity to stay, you don't get into the hospital, of course, and you are discharged. Of course, you receive the treatment, you are discharged and can go back to the GP's care, then you go home and then to the general practitioner's care to continue the studies and everything that is necessary at the moment. These meanings are very important because we are going to talk in this way, to consider how to express from this points of view in module 2. That's why it's prepared in the order, and it's an introduction for that a new material that we are going to check from Monday. Going ahead, talking about the health service in general. Of course, it's a service that provides medical treatment and care to the public or a particular group of patients. Doesn't matter if they have or not or don't have money. We have the obligation to work in that way. Here in Bolivia, we have lots of insurance, private and one public health insurance. The SUS is the public one, and the private one that are with us, well, you know, you pay the service and then you can get assist with all of the capabilities, duties, especially anything that is necessary because of the moment and the situation. All of these pictures are just for information, but it's important to take it in account. Talking about healthcare systems, organizations, and structures, of course, each country has its own way to work on. Each country has the right, has the focus on about their population. They know which are the necessities for doing programs in that way. I mean, here I prepared some examples just as information, just for considering that they are for comparing systems and taking into account that it's not a common healthcare system everywhere. So we have in the US, the scientific healthcare subsystem. They make lots of research. They prepare their hospitals in order to organize the emergency rooms, specifically surgical rooms, in order to receive patients for for research, for preparing protocols, for preparing new ways of attention, and sharing that information in the worldwide medical reviews and that are in articles or something like that, in order to organize and get a better way of working. Of course, they have enough resources, economical resources, to do this kind of research. The scientific healthcare, it's not easy to organize. They divide it into the personal healthcare sector and population healthcare sector. With the personal healthcare sector, it's prepared by just for health providers, all the professionals that are into the healthcare system, doctors, nurses, physios, everything that we were talking in the last class, and they have the capability to study the risk in the laboral staff, the laboral risks, and then organize on then get information how to improve the way of working, how to improve the way to avoid stress, over stress, and that kind of not comfortable situations. Moreover, they are making research in the better ways about depression, the burnout syndrome, and then consider how important is the worker for the system. That's a very important way of doing this. The population healthcare sector, all the population that is being assisted. They have the public health agencies, because it's local, it's divided by states, it's by federal departments. It's a mess because they have numbers, letters, they have the alphabet, the vowels and the consonants to organize their codes. Without a code, you cannot be assisted. Without a number, you cannot be assisted. It's not a good way. And of course, it's expensive, extremely expensive. Just to be picked up by an ambulance, it's around 2,000 or, well, it depends, 1,500 if you are in the green code, or if you are in the red code, can arrive until $3,000, $300,000. So it's not easy to pay this if you don't have a health insurance. The private health agencies, of course, you pay month by month an amount of money, and then you can receive the attention. If you don't pay, you are out. And the voluntary health agencies, usually they are free, but in order they are voluntary, they are receiving some help and some support from organizations. And it's not the best one, but it's better at not having anyone. Just the basic services are here. For example, internal medicine, general surgery, pediatrics, and the easiest way of doing this without lots of services, okay? Usually people that is living on the streets, the homeless, go to this healthcare system in order to receive assistance, but just in an extreme situation. If they have, for example, sore throat, they are not allowed to take this assistance, If they got COVID, depending on the stage or how difficult is this, it depends they are assisted or not. It's hard to be in this program. Moreover, they are divided in the complementary alternative healthcare subsystem just for rehabilitation, and the popular healthcare system or subsystem that usually the popular one supports the voluntary one, but it's just an example. Moreover, in the United States, of course, the healthcare system has the same objectives that has all of the healthcare systems in worldwide, and the WHO, the World Health Organization, have this chart showing us the statistics, how they are attended, just as an information to take into account the way of expression, the numbers, how they support their information. It's important, this slide, just for reading. It's not the best. For example, the Travel International Health Insurance is one of the most important ones when you are going to another countries, because if you don't have it, you are not allowed to receive healthcare assistance in the public healthcare system. It could be by payment, it could be in the program when you support all your expense, I mean, and it's not cheap, of course. Here in Bolivia, we have a healthcare system that is divided from the national responsibilities, could be said, the National Healthcare Social Council, the Department Health Social Council, and the local or municipal responsibilities, could be said. In that order, we know that we have the Ministry of Health and Sports. Well, now it's just for health. We have the departmental, that is, it depends on the government. The government gives some attention, gives some responsibilities and capabilities to the municipal health social councils. And well, we know that at this moment it's not the best, I mean, well, but it's giving some answers for our necessities. It's giving some responses, could be some ways of trying to do our best. We have to consider the health networks, the municipal governments, the SAFSI, the MISALUD, the teams, in order to have an approach to our population from the basis to the top. In that way, it's not as clear as we expect sometimes, because they usually can mix the responsibilities from department to the council, and the council to the specific point of view. But well, as most of the patients of most of the countries, we have the levels, the primary level health centers, the secondary level health centers, and then we have the tertiary level health centers. Well, all of them with different approaches. So in that way, just as an example, we can compare, and well, it's different. Research is indeed all of the system. Research is supposed to be done by all of the medical professionals, the doctors and nurses that are into these programs. Well, but it's the way we work. In some other countries, it's similar, but they have some small differences. And again, the WHO, the World Health Organization, give us again the statistics, how it's working for our population, in order to take it in account. Again, just as an information, I sent this slide for considering the way of expression. In Model 2, we are going to use this in a better way. Just it's an information class. Just about the primary care, we have of course important meanings that we have to remind all while talking, while expressing ideas, and showing how to give a real opinion with our patients, right? For example, well, we have the general practitioner, the GP, we were talking in the previous class. We have to make a referral or to refer a letter. If a patient needs specialist care, is sent to a consultant in secondary care. Of course, we all know this. I think that all of us have made once at least a referral letter. And then, well, we are going to practice in Module 2 how to write it down, because it has a way to be done. It's not the same as in Spanish, of course. It has another rules and ways of doing this. The home visits is to visit a patient at home as an appointment. We get a date, we get an hour, and then we have to stay there because it's our responsibility. They are made when patients are housebound. Of course, they are unable to leave their house, or maybe if they are too ill for going to the doctor for taking the appointment. So if the patient cannot move, the doctor goes to visit the patient. It usually happens in the UK. Moreover, it happens in Cuba, for example. Cuba has one of the best medical healthcare systems, but well, it's focused on prevention. That's why home visits are one of the most important parts of the Cuban system. They organize the appointments, all of the people know when's the date when the doctor is going to go home, and then they expect for him, and that's all. Moreover, we have out-of-hours treatment, the OOH. It's provided by the local primary care trust, which organize shifts on GPs. What it means, the general practitioners are organized in the consulting room for receiving patients, just for sending medication and that kind of general control that patients needs. It usually occurs in UK, in Europe especially, but one of the most organized places is UK. And then they have shifts to stay and inspect for patients with a list, which ones have to go to the consulting room and then receive medication. The recipe for receiving the medication in the drugstore. And now we have the locum. The locum is the one that is covering the shift or agree if someone is absent. For example, today is my shift. I have to check my wards, and there's an emergency in family. It could happen, or maybe I have an accident, who knows? The one that is responsible to organize that shifts is the locum. If the locum cannot get someone to cover, to take my shift, the locum has to go and do it for me. Okay, it's a very interesting place. It usually, this term is usually checked in the UK, not in all of the countries, okay? So we all have more meanings. The district nurse, we were talking about it in the last class, but we have to remind this, it's very important. District nurses usually visit temporarily housebound patients, such as discharged hospital patients for not complicated procedures. I mean, if a patient was operated because of an appendicitis, for example, the patient stays just one day in order to recover into the hospital. If there's no complications, is discharged to home. He is discharged and the nurse goes to visit him every day at the same hour to check if there is no fever, no additional pain, how the suture is done, if there is no way of getting the wound infected. And when it happens, it's a better way of working. And when they complete the time of being in bed or being with that care, they go to the hospital, the surgeon checks again, and then everything is done and it's over and becomes an outpatient. The change dressings, of course, is the procedure when the bandage are changed from wounds, such as ulcer dressings. Of course, they don't have to stay all the time. They have to be changed every 1 2 days, maybe daily or twice a day. Usually it's done by a nurse or maybe the GP or the resident that is in charge. And well, this change dressings is important as an expression, okay? Well, we talked about the midwife. The midwife is the trained staff, trained nurse that is taking care of an antenatal patients. Is following all the pregnancy, and if there is any complicated situation, any complication during this process, they send the patient to the obstetrics in order to get attended and to get assistance and receive a solution of that situation. And the health visitors is training staff, usually nurses, that visit families to carry out checkups, young children, particularly under 5, to make sure they are healthy. I mean, here in Bolivia, we take our kids to the health consulting room in public or private healthcare system, it doesn't matter. We take the kid, we go, and the doctor checks that our babies are healthy. In Cuba, UK, USA, France, Italy, well, most all over all over in Europe, healthy kids, healthy babies don't go to the doctor. The doctor or the nurse goes to visit the baby at home. It's in order to avoid risks of being contagious and in order to leave that extremely big lines of patients with healthy patients. That's not an objective to receive healthy people in consulting rooms. That's why they decide to go home and become a health visitor. Of course, they have a schedule, they have a way of following, a pathway, and then they organize in that way. And patients know the date when the health visitor is going home, so the visit is not missed. It's possible to go there and stay. Moreover, well, now let's go to talk about medical education. It's a very nice topic. Why it's nice? Because we consider that how to compare the medical education system in some places. All over the world, most all over the countries, it's similar because it takes around the same time, around 6 to 7 years. And well, of course, we have the undergraduate education, the theoretical one, when we receive all the basic data, all the basic information. And then we have this meaning. The undergraduate education, usually 5 years at med school, the section of university is responsible for medical education. Of course, a university has to take this responsibility to teach in the correct way with the correct professors the basis of the medical profession. I mean, the theoretical activities. In UK, well, this text is based on UK because it's one of the clearest systems. We have divided it in 4 stages. The core, that is for 1 to 3 years. The student selected modules, the vocational studies and clinical skills, the clinical attachments, the years 4 and 5, okay? So all of this organization is in order to perform, to practice, to learn the activities, to get the capabilities and be ready for going into the hospital. And when we finish this first 5 years in UK, we become a Bachelor of Medicine, a Bachelor of Surgery is the same. It's a 5-year undergraduate medical degree course, just a theoretical part with some little practice to get some capabilities, and that's enough. You finish this 5 years, you're ready to the internship, okay? In UK, most of them are taken in small groups for receiving a better education. And well, understanding the core is the integrated program of clinical and scientific topics, mainly presented through problem-based learning. So from the beginning, they start practicing with clinical cases. It's similar in Cuba, we made the same program. And it's very interesting because you have the opportunity from the first year to start checking patients, to start checking healthy and unhealthy patients, of course, and then start training your medical thoughts, your medical ways of understanding could be. The student selected modules allow you to choose from a menu of subjects in order to prepare an overseas elective. What it means that you can choose from the beginning which areas you would like to prepare in order to get specialized. Okay, it's better, I think. The vocational studies and clinical skills prepares you for the clinical skills required for contact with patients from year one, from the beginning, through periods of practical training among a hospital department or general practice. While doing this clinical practice and catching clinical skills, you have the opportunity, you get capabilities to decide. And well, of course, preparing with the selected models, you decide which specialty you want from the beginning. You get trained and everything is working better. About the clinical attachments, is a series of 4-week clinical attachments in medicine, surgery, physiological medicine, pediatrics, obstetrics, gynecology, and general practice. So you go check every area, and then you are almost ready for going to the next step. I repeat again, it's just for UK. It's similar in USA. It's different in Latin America. Why different? We all know we have theoretical years to catch and get information. And then we are starting receiving clinical practice from the 3rd year, 3rd, 4, 5, and the internship, right? It's not the same. So it depends on the place. It depends how you get along, could be, or you get used to the program you are practicing. It depends on each one. The graduation year of the graduation becomes when you finish your rotating internship. All of us has been an internship. Here we have some classmates, some colleagues that are now into the career, and that's perfect. You are going to be internship. You're going to have that opportunity. You're going to make that rotating internship, and that's a nice activity because you learn a lot. And in my opinion, it's one of the most important parts. In Cuba, in UK and USA, when you become an intern, you don't just make papers and organize documentation. You are being prepared for working by your own. What I mean, you receive all the necessary supervision, to assist patients by your own. You are with your teacher next to you, and the teacher is just listening how you ask questions, how you make all the procedures, the physical exam, how you give information to the patient. If something is not complete, the teacher helps you to catch the details and to improve the way of talking, the way of giving information, of receiving information, of organizing ideas. That's the way that specific places work. In Bolivia, for example, our interns work a lot, but they are not allowed to do it by their own because they are not ready. It's just a difference in the health, in the program, or in the medical program. It's the way it's organized. Well, this is a joke. I mean, I love to send jokes. You might watch it during the course. And the daily activity of a medical student starts with the happiness level and how it ends, how we can go during the day. It's just for having fun. Don't worry about it. It's a nice joke, I think. Then when we become a postgraduate doctor, we all know that that's the period when we don't have all the register, we don't have all the documentation to do it, and we need to prepare all of the medication, not medication, all of the documentation to receive our papers. We usually finish the internship, going to the rural areas at the beginning, and then we receive our title, our medical title. In some countries, the postgraduates are made in your country registration, usually requires the development in rural areas at the beginning. In some countries like UK and USA, you finish your internship, and when you finish that complete year, and at that moment you go to the rural area for 1 year, 6 months. It depends on the program you are into. Here in Bolivia, we know we go to the rural areas during the internship. It's like a class, a lesson that we have to finish. It's just a difference. Oh, no. Moreover, when we get all the registration, we get our title, our codes and everything, we have to be clear that we need the continuing professional development, the process by which each health professional keeps update to meet the needs of patients. It depends on the area you are working on. It depends on the branch you are focused and the objective you have for this class. So in my case, I got all of these courses because I work at the emergency room. So I need these kind of courses or programs to be prepared for my specific branch. If someone is working, on pediatrics, needs another kind of courses, another kind of programs, and it's personal. It's your choice now how to do it. And that's the moment when you realize that university was a piece of cake. When you finish and you have to work and go ahead, well, you take courses like this one that is organized to promote the best way of working and understanding. Now we have the medical education focused on the residency programs. I've been receiving some questions about it, how to take a residency in UK, USA specifically. And now we are going to be clear on this. In both countries, when you decide to be a specialist, and you choose your specialty, you have to try to reach a foundation program. This is a 2-year training program which prepares the bridge between university level study at med school and specialist or general practice training. So this foundation, this institution, helps the postgraduate doctors to get well trained to become specialists, depending on the branch you decided to work on. It consists of a series of placements, each one lasting 4 months, which allow junior doctors, the GPs, known as trainee, it's the ganja they receive, the trainee, to sample different specialties, for example, pediatrics. And it's divided in foundation 1 year, 1 year trainee, foundation 2nd year, the 2-year trainee. In that way, you have to consider that each trainee has an educational supervisor. This educational supervisor is selected by the foundation program, by the institution, and is the one who ensures that more senior doctors, more prepared doctors deliver training in different ways, including clinical and educational supervision. To progress, trainee has to demonstrate a range of clinical competencies, which are assessed through observation in the workplace. What I mean, you become a trainee, you have your supervisor, you have your different professors in different areas, of course. You present some theoretical and practical evaluations, and then you can go ahead and go and reach the 2nd year. When you finish, well, this is an example from Australia, I think, yes, from Australia. When you, how the 1 and 2nd years are organized. For 1 and 2nd in the shifts in moving into departments, we have all of these services organized. And just for 2nd year, we have these ones. The accident and emergency room, the emergency room is just for second year. So you can see. You have placements counting for general surgery, placement content for general medicine, just clinics, surgery specialists, or surgical specialists, I mean, and alternative places that, well, of course, you have to choose if you are ready to do it, if you want to do it. But one of the most important is A&E, because you have to be in that place to know how to assist emergencies in your specific area, because all of us has had an emergency to assist them in. So just as an example, you can watch how they are organized, I mean, and then, well, let's go ahead. People that has evolved into the medical education, well, we have all of this stuff, educational stuff, I mean, that is responsible for about the training, about the foundation program. They are, of course, prepared for doing this. They are degrees talking about it. And it's a good way of showing the information. And they receive all the necessary material, could be, to be prepared of this. And they, of course, teach you the practical skills, theoretical skills. The tutor, an academic, in some cases, postgraduate student who leads tutorials. Postgraduate that has experience on this, or maybe is 1 year ahead from you, okay? The demonstrator, for example, in anatomy teaching, is someone who demonstrates how to dissect. The demonstrator is the one to show how to make a procedure specifically. Okay, demonstrations are often postgraduate students paying their way through medical school. So why paying? Because we all know that med school is not cheap, it's expensive. We all have that idea. And USA and UK, well, in Europe and USA, you can get you can get into a program that gives you a credit, like a credit card for receiving the education. And by paying that credit, you can pay the cost of the career becoming a demonstrator, giving, well, teaching without payment. Okay, teaching specific topics. It's an interesting way of helping people to reach that kind of career. The lecturer or the senior lecturer, it's an academic with teaching and research responsibilities who contributes to the teaching of particular discipline. Well, the lecturer is the one that goes to look for studies, look for reviews, articles, in order to teach the theoretical part, to teach the research to the trainees. Okay. The professor is a senior academic with teaching and research responsibilities for a particular discipline, usually leading a figure in their discipline. So the professor is the specialist that is responsible into service that can lead the theoretical and the practical teaching in a specific area. We all had professors. We all had someone that was teaching us how to do something or how to understand some information in a specific way into our medical school. The college tutor, a consultant responsible for delivering a college training program. The college tutor is the one that makes the training program. The trainee has the opportunity to talk with his tutor in order to organize the program and organize the services, how he's going to pass away through the services. It's not the same role for everybody. So you have the opportunity to organize with the tutor, the college tutor, how to do it. Okay. The clinical trainer is a consultant assigned to a trainee who provides training during periods of direct clinical training. Is your personal professor, could be said. The personal one, you have to be with him, you have to be his shadow or her shadow, and then try to reach all the information that the clinical trainer is giving to you. The educational supervisor is a consultant who supervises a trainee's period of training. This supervisor is the one that is showing, that is checking how the clinical trainer, the college tutor, professor, lecturer, demonstrator, tutor, how everybody in the chain is giving you the correct information and giving you the correct way of talking about the medical capabilities you are catching, or the medical research you are getting. Well, it depends. But the educational supervisor is could be called the most important, because from him can become changes, can become the better ways of doing this, in order to organize each role of each professional. And now about the medical qualifications. Of course, it's just valid for some countries, not for all over the world. Why not? Because we know that the degrees, the qualifications are not easy to get, are not easy to catch for everybody. And well, not because they don't have the capability, because sometimes we decide to change the branch, and when changing the areas, we have to start again. The first of all, we start with Bachelor of Medical Sciences, a degree often taken after 3 years of medical studies by students who may wish to follow a career in medical research. When you want to go into the medical research, you have to take a course, an extra course in a specific universities, not in anyone. The university that is teaching how to make a research has to be prepared into resources, into professors, professionals that really know how to do it. You complete these 3 years of training in research specifically, and then you become a Bachelor of Medical Sciences. Then another one is Bachelor of Medicine or Bachelor of Surgery, degrees for undergraduate degrees. This is the first degree of UK doctors. And well, this is specifically for UK, I mean. It's not for everybody, but not all over the world. You can study your 5 years of theoretical medical sciences, and then taking tests and preparing, you can become a bachelor, a general. It's similar to the GP. Then you become a doctor of medicine. It's similar to licenses, licenciado. For example, in Cuba, we receive the title as doctors of medicine. But when we come to Bolivia or we go to other countries from Latin America, we are licenciados en medicina. It's a similar way of talking about it. But if I go to Europe with my title, I am a doctor of medicines. It's a different way of talking just. The diploma of the Royal College of Obstetrics and Gynecology is an example for specialists. For example, you can get a diploma of surgery, for example, of the Royal College of Surgery, or a diploma of the Royal College of Traumatologists. It's for talking about the specialists, not just. Now you can get in the diploma, you can become a member of the specific specialty you get. For example, the member of the Royal College of Physicians, or also called member of the Royal College of Surgeons. It's just for UK. In USA, they have another way of talking a member. Now, for example, I'm a member of the FEDALAT because I have enough studies to be into that organization. So in that order, we can talk about it. Moreover, we have the fellow, the last one. The fellow is the degree when you are recognized by other college, by letters, because of your experience into a specific branch into medicine. for example, like this, Fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons of England. It's a specific title. It's a membership and a special membership into a specific medical university, medical college, and well, that's the way that it's organized. It's just a title that gives you higher and higher and higher responsibilities. To become a fellow, how doctors become a fellow depends on their college. It's not for all of the universities, for example. For the College of Surgeons, further examinations must be passed, lots of evaluations. For the college, it's based by nominations of work assessments, how many surgeries you do, how many patients you attend, how many strange cases, not common cases you treat on, and then how you prepare and organize all of this information. That's why becoming a fellow in Latin America, it's a different way of being prepared. It's just, for example, it's not a subspecialist. It's when you get enough experience in a branch, in a specific branch, you can reach that title. But of course, you have to get a few years of working. You have to get enough experience to support this title. And don't forget the overseas doctor. In UK, the types of registration are very important. Why? It's similar to the USA. You don't finish the medical school and then you can make all of the activities during the, well, when you're with the registration. You have to follow some steps to reach more capabilities, more responsibilities. It's different from Latin America. When we finish the medical school, we have our grade, our registration, and then we have the complete responsibilities. In UK and USA, it's not the same. You have to take some evaluations, some tests to go up in categories and then get the different registrations. For example, the provisional registration, doctors who have qualified from medical school in UK just. You finished your medical school, your 6 years, including the internship, and then you get a provisional registration. You continue, you take your clinical training, you become a trainee, and then while finishing, you get the full registration. Doctors who have completed training, you become the trainee process, and then you have more responsibilities. Moreover, you have the limited registration for international medical graduates who have not completed the equivalent clinical training in UK. International medical graduates that didn't make the trainee. It's limited just for some activities. You cannot do everything. Well, moreover, the specialist registration, for doctors that finish the residency specifically, and of course the PLAB. The PLAB is professionals that from different countries or even UK that have to be prepared for tests, for assessment board tests, in order to ensure they can pass and practice safely at the level of a SO in first appointment in the UK hospital. The PLAB is just for UK. It's a program that prepares you by speaking, by taking some capabilities into communication, not only in English, taking in account more languages like Spanish, French, and Italy, for example. And then taking that course that it's around 1 or 2 years, I'm not sure because it depends on the moment it's open for students. And if you are from UK, if you are England, or if you are from another country, well, you have to get the PLAB, to complete your full registration and your specialist registration. It's like a mess to do it, but well, I think it's an overview, a general overview, okay? And don't forget, keep calm and carry on. Everything is done at this moment. So with these slides, we finished this module 1. And well, now being in general, tomorrow is the final test. We all know about it. Tomorrow we have the activity that is prepared for passing this course, or maybe, well, I hope nobody fails the test. And well, I must tell you that for approving and receiving all of the documentation, the certifications, you have to get at least 51 points each module. Okay, so if you are making homework, I'm sure that you are going to be ready for the test of tomorrow. So don't worry about it. I trust on you, and I'm sure that you can do it. Is there any question about the topic we talked now, or maybe about the test? It's the last chance. Yeah, no, mentira. By WhatsApp, you can ask some details if you prefer to do that. Well, if there's no questions, I send the poll in order to get your attendance. Well, that's all. Okay, Lucia, I can listen to you.
Okay, good night. I wanted to ask you, is it like the test is going to be at 8, right?
Yes.
At the same time. Okay.
Yes,
that was my
8 p.m. 8 p.m. and it lasts 2 hours.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Alejandro is asking, well, the same question. It's going to be at 8 p.m. the GMT4. It's like a theoretical class, I mean. And we have 2 hours to fill this, to do it. Everybody, please, we need to be with the camera turned on, okay? Don't forget that. And well, the ones who fill the pool can go for keep reading maybe, or well, have a nice night, the ones that finish this. I have 2 students that didn't fill it. So we need something, pen and paper. Well, I'm going to send the file to the WhatsApp group, could be or by Zoom. You download it, and of course you need something to write down and send me back the answers. Just the answers. If you prefer to print it and then send me the answers into the printed pages, that's okay. Or if you want to write down in a white paper all of the answers, that's okay for me. Just be clear in the order you are answering, that's all. Don't worry. But yes, you need to write down. And don't forget to send me the pictures. Is there any question? Something else? Don't worry, you are ready. I'm checking all of your job during the course, and well, I know and I can see that you are doing your best effort. Okay. Okay. The ones who made the poll, who answered the poll, can go now. There's just one student that didn't fill it. Does anybody have a problem watching the pool? Okay, I'm gonna send it for the ones that cannot watch it. Give me a minute, please. I'm gonna relaunch it. Okay, can you watch it, Alejandro? Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks for your attendance on time. Thanks for coming tonight, and see you tomorrow at 8. And don't worry, you are ready. Okay, everything is done. The last